very happy Diwali and
a happy Gaumanu.
welcome to second podcast by Dr. Maria and Dr. Prithvidev. Today's podcast is going to be a Diwali special. So today we'll be talking about Ramayana. हम सबको पता है कि रामायण का हमारे हिंदू धर्म में बहुत ही ज्यादा महत्व है. So let's get started.
क्यों महत्व है? क्यों? Why do we celebrate Diwali?
दिवाली हम इसलिए सेलिब्रेट करते हैं टू मार्क द विक्ट्री ऑफ गुड ओवर इविल.
But has good won over evil?
We can't say that 100%.
So celebrating Diwali is just based on an idea or a notion that people have built कि good has won over evil.
You can say so.
तो अगर ऐसा है नहीं तो we are just wasting resources, making children labor to make crackers, destroying the environment and doing all those things just based on an idea.
But do we really think about all these questions when we are celebrating a festival?
हाँ मैं करता हूँ.
But सब नहीं करते ना.
तो अगर सब करें तो अच्छी बात है.
Yes.
तो क्यों नहीं करते? बात वो है ना. बात वो इसलिए नहीं करते क्योंकि they have been taught something that is completely different from the reality. क्यों सेलिब्रेट करते हैं दिवाली? What is the actual reason? How? किसको पता है? Actual reason किसको पता है? You are saying कि Diwali is celebrated because good won over evil or because say Ram came back from his exile, right?
Yeah.
तो मगर तुमको पता थोड़ी कि ऐसा हुआ था. वो तो mythology है. It is right in the word myth. वो थोड़ी हुआ होगा. किसी ने कभी ऐसे ही कोई बैठा होगा मेरी तरह उसके बाद कुछ करने को नहीं होगा उसने सोचा आओ चलो दिवाली सेलिब्रेट करते हैं. किसी ने सोचा आओ चलो होली सेलिब्रेट करते हैं कि मैंने कलर बना लिए तो मैं सोचा कि आओ होली सेलिब्रेट कर ले. सो इट इज जस्ट एन आइडिया ना.
So Dr. Prithvi, you mean कि वाल्मीकि ने जो भी लिखा है वो सिर्फ उसकी myths पे based है, ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं था.
Has to be क्योंकि अब रामायण happened when 7,000 years ago, 7,000 BC है ना. Valmiki wrote that same Ramayana in the years that between 100 to 500 BC. तो even if उसने 500 BC में लिखी है तो there is a difference of 6500 years. तो 6500 years में वो information जो है जो अगर कुछ हुआ भी होगा closest to रामायण 6500 years में वो कितना manipulate हुआ होगा, वो कितना change हुआ होगा, वो कितना जो actual truth था वो उससे जहाँ तक वाल्मीकि ने लिखा वो कितना interchange हो गया होगा वो. The real information वो उसने actually थोड़ी वो लिखा होगा जो हुआ. He wasn't there to see. He wasn't there to witness the actual Ramayana that would have happened if it happened. तो उसने स्टोरी सुनी होगी, उसको किसी ने सुनाई होगी, किसी ने आगे पीछे सुनाई होगी, किसी ने उससे पहले किसी को सुनाई होगी. तो स्टोरीज की स्टोरीज बनी, स्टोरीज के आगे और स्टोरीज बनी, बनते 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 वाल्मीकि ने वो फाइनली लिखी. उसके बाद तुलसीदास ने भी लिखी है ना वही रामायण. तो वाल्मीकि की रामायण तुलसीदास की रामायण दे आर डिफरेंट. If those two Ramayans are different, how can you say कि जो 6500 years पहले actually अगर रामायण हुई भी होगी, and that is a big fat size diff, तो तुमको थोड़ी पता कि वाल्मीकि ने वही रामायण लिखी होगी.
अभी कुछ दिन पहले मैं अपनी मम्मा के साथ बैठी थी और मुझे बचपन से बहुत इंटरेस्ट होता है लाइक जब मम्मा स्टोरीज बताते हैं, हम सबको ही होता है ना स्टोरी सुनने का एंड ऑल. तो मम्मा मुझे ये स्टोरी बता रहे थे रामायण से ही कि नल और नील दो मंकीज थे जिनको वरदान था कि जब भी वो कोई चीज समुद्र में या पानी में फेंकेंगे तो वो चीज फ्लोट करेगी. तो ऐसे ही राम सेतु बना था.
वो तो pumice rocks होते हैं. Those are pumice rocks. जहाँ पे volcanic eruptions होते हैं, the stones that come out, they have gaseous state. They have a gaseous state filled inside. They are filled with gases. तो उसको अगर तुम फेंकोगे on water, in the water, in the ocean, तो they will float on water.
But people believe कि राम राम का नाम लिखने की वजह से वो फ्लोट कर.
मेरा नाम लिख के फेंक दो तब भी फ्लोट करेंगे. तो मैं राम हो गया. तो मेरा नाम लिख के फेंक दो वो फ्लोट कर देगी. प्यूमिस रॉक फिर भी फ्लोट करेगा. मेरा नाम लिख के फेंक दो वो तो फिर भी फ्लोट करेगा. जिसने नहीं, अगर मैं कोई नॉर्मल रॉक है उसको मैं राम लिख के फेंकूंगा वो ड्राउन कर जाएगा. तो या तो उनको वरदान था या राम के नाम में कुछ था या जो भी था. तो फाइनली द साइंटिफिक फैक्ट इज कि इट वाज अ प्यूमिस रॉक. अगर नाम लिखने से चीजें चेंज होती तो मैं नाम लिख के बहुत कुछ चेंज कर देता. That is not science. That does not have a basis in science. That is just a belief, a myth. Believe करने को तुम जो मर्जी believe कर लो. You can believe that this earth does not exist. You can believe this universe is just a hoax. You can believe this universe is a hologram. You can believe that you are actually dreaming and your reality is completely different. You can believe anything. Beliefs don't need scientific basis. Beliefs don't need math. मगर बात ये है कि beliefs पे you cannot base your entire life.
Exactly. See, do you think like based on these mythologies we have just हमने अपने आप को घेर के रख लिया है उन myths में कि हम realities को face ही नहीं करना चाहते हैं.
Mythologies give humans a cushion against reality. They tend to figure out this from these mythologies and everything. They tend to figure out that no matter how hard life be, no matter what may happen in the long run, no matter what is happening to them currently in the present state, eventually there is someone who is taking care of them and eventually everything will work out for the better. So that is a thinking that a weak mind always has. कि अगर मेरी कोई मैथमेटिकल इक्वेशन है, मेरी इक्वेशन सॉल्व नहीं हो रही, तो मैं ये थोड़ी बैठ जाऊंगा कि हो ही जाएगी, मैं इसको लिख के रखता हूँ, इवेंचुअली इट विल गेट सॉल्व बाय इटसेल्फ. वो नहीं होगी ना, करनी पड़ेगी. इफ देयर इज फूड इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, यू हैव टू पुट दैट फूड इन योर माउथ. इट वोंट गो इनटू योर माउथ जस्ट बिकॉज यू बिलीव दैट गॉड विल फीड यू एट द एंड. इवेंचुअली you have to work for it. मगर लोगों के लिए believing in mythology is so easy because it doesn't require any hypothesis, it doesn't require any theories, it doesn't require any experimentation. उसके लिए कुछ नहीं चाहिए. You don't need any skill or any art or any talent for that. You just have to believe in something that does not exist and cannot be proved in any tangible, logical way.
रामायण में रामायण के बारे में बताया गया है कि उसमें 21 बिलियन सोल्जर्स मरे थे. What do you have to comment about this?
21 billion. The current population of Earth is 8 billion. 21 billion died in 7000 BC. The other day I made this video about Mahabharat. That happened about 3200 years ago, and it was said that about 50 lakh soldiers died in Mahabharat. There is also a text that suggests 166 crore soldiers died in Mahabharat. But the entire population of Earth during that period was about 40 lakhs. So if the entire population of Earth around 3000 BC was 40 lakhs, going by the same numbers, around 7000 BC the entire population would have been around 8 to 10 lakhs. 21,000 करोड़ के लोग कैसे मर गए?
That's a question mark.
हाँ, 10 लाख लोगों की पॉपुलेशन में 21,000 करोड़ लोग थोड़ी मरते हैं. So that is how the mythologies work. Mythologies do not have their basis in any math or any science or any logical, tangible form of nature. They are just beliefs and myths based on someone's idea कि ऐसा हुआ होगा तो इससे हमको ये सीख मिलती है कि हमने ये सीखा. So those are just stories built to tell children कि अगर तुम ऐसा करोगे तो तुम्हारे साथ ऐसा होगा. If you are good, then good will happen to you. If you are bad, bad will come to you. All of that, right? तो वो stories हैं सुनाने के लिए. Those aren't the things that one should base their life on.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इन्हीं चीजों की वजह से like you just said कि ऐसा करोगे तो तुम्हारे साथ ऐसा हो जाएगा. इन चीजों की वजह से इंसान बहुत डरता है. अब ये हमारे घर में या फिर हमने देखा ही है, जैसे ये बाबा आते हैं दक्षिणा मांगने के लिए और फिर अब तो स्टैंडर्ड्स बढ़ गए हैं. अब ये वो चावल और आटा लेके नहीं मांगते हैं. दे हैव अ लॉट टू टेक फ्रॉम अस और फिर बोल के चले जाते हैं कुछ. डू यू थिंक इसका कुछ इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है हमारे ऊपर? मतलब उनके बोलने से ऐसा होगा ही होगा हमारी लाइफ में?
Of course not. किसी के बोलने से कुछ होता तो फिर क्या मैं तो बहुत कुछ बोलता हूँ तो वो थोड़ी जाएगा.
The other day I was in the Shera ground और एक बाबा आए and he's telling me बेटी दक्षिणा दे दो and you will be the happiest kid. So I just asked myself कि if I give him money will I be happy or he will be happy?
मेरे को दक्षिणा दे दो, you will be the happiest.
That's what I mean, you know.
So that is the thing. वो उसमें वो कोई logical tangible चीज वो तो वो भी नहीं है ना. And moreover becoming a baba and everything, that is not something कि हम बाबा बन गए तो हमें भगवान मिल गया या कुछ मिल गया, है ना. ऐसा नहीं होता. अगर ऐसा होता तो गीता में नहीं लिखा होता कि you have to fulfill your karma and not your dharma to reach the supreme almighty. If you believe in that, If you believe in Gita, if you believe in religion, if you believe in Hinduism, if you believe in any kind of religion whatsoever, तो हर religious textbook में, कुरान में, गीता में, ग्रंथ में, बाइबल में, सब में यही लिखा है कि अगर you have to reach your supreme almighty, you have to find place in the feet of your supreme almighty, you have to do your work, you have to fulfill your कर्म. तुम्हारा कर्म है, तुम्हारी फैमिली, तुम्हारा वर्क, जो भी तुम करने के लिए, जो भी तुम्हारा कर्म इस धरती पर है ना. कोई भी अगर मैं साइंटिस्ट हूं तो मेरा काम है टू अनरेवल ट्रूथ अबाउट द यूनिवर्स. कोई डॉक्टर है तो हिज कर्म इज टू क्योर पीपल, ट्रीट पेशेंट्स, राइट. तो हर बंदे का अपना अपना कर्म है. तो अगर तुम उसको छोड़ के तुम कहो कि मैंने सब कुछ छोड़ दिया, आई हैव लेफ्ट एवरीथिंग एंड नाउ आई हैव रीच्ड द स्टेज ऑफ ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम जो है ना. अब तुम कह दो कि मैं अब यहाँ पे हूँ तो मुझे भगवान मिल गया, तो तुम्हें भगवान थोड़ी मिल गया. अगर मैं कह भी दूं कि मैंने ये किया, मैंने दो दिन तपस्या की, मुझे भगवान दिख गया, तो उसका मेरे पास कोई प्रूफ थोड़ी है. आई कैन नॉट प्रूव इट टू यू दैट आई सॉ गॉड. यू कैन नॉट सी गॉड, राइट. If God is this all-powerful, all-natural being that is pure energy, you cannot see him. You cannot see pure energy. How will you do that? That is not practically possible. So anybody saying such a thing is completely creating hoax and is creating a fool out of everybody who is listening to him or her.
See, that's the thing. जब भी मैं सोचती हूँ ना, मतलब कि हम ये फेस्टिवल सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, वी टॉक अ लॉट अबाउट कि गीता में ऐसा लिखा है, बाइबल में ऐसा लिखा है, बट डू वी रियली फॉलो दोज थिंग्स जो वो एक्चुअली इम्प्लाई करना चाहते हैं अबाउट द कर्मा, अबाउट बीइंग गुड टू अदर्स?
तुम कर ही नहीं सकते. इवन इफ यू रीड बाइबल, सी वैसे भी 99% लोग जो फॉलो करते हैं रिलीजन, दे हैवंट रेड एनी रिलीजियस बुक. ठीक है, पहली बात तो वो है. अगर वो पढ़ भी लें तो भी वो फॉलो नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि जो गीता है, जो कृष्ण ने अगर गीता कही थी, कृष्ण ने गीता कही थी इन द ईयर 3200 BC. कृष्ण ने गीता कही थी महाभारत के कर्म भूमि में खड़े होकर. कृष्ण ने गीता कही थी अर्जुन को, जो लड़ रहा था अपने परिवार वालों से. कृष्ण ने गीता कही थी उन सर्कमस्टांसेस में, उस सिचुएशन में विच वाज कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट देन द सिचुएशन दैट यू आर लिविंग इन टुडे. अब तुम वो वाली सिचुएशन, वो वाले सर्कमस्टांसेस पे जो बेस स्टोरी है कृष्ण की, जो बेस टीचिंग्स है कृष्ण की टुवर्ड्स अर्जुन, तुम वो स्टोरीज, वो सारी की सारी इंफॉर्मेशन, यू कैन नॉट ब्रिंग इट आउट ऑफ दैट टेक्स्ट बुक एंड अप्लाई टू योर लाइफ इन द ईयर 2022 और 2023, क्योंकि दैट वुड नॉट मेक सेंस. वो 5000 साल पुरानी इंफॉर्मेशन है. यू कैन नॉट यूज 5000 ईयर ओल्ड इंफॉर्मेशन टू लिव योर लाइफ इन टुडे. That is stupidity. अब अगर तुम कहो कि I want to live a life based on those texts, then you should go and live a life on the text जहाँ पे इंसान ने आग बनाई थी 2 पत्थर स्पार्क करके. तो तुम मत यूज करो लाइटर्स, तुम मत यूज करो मैच बॉक्सेस, है ना. तुम लाओ पत्थर, लाओ, रगड़ो, आग बना दो. तुम जाओ गुफाओं में रहो, मत रहो घरों में. If you want to live a life that is based in history, that is based in the past, then you should not have any pleasure or have any technology in your hand that is built after those years, that is built recently. तो वो सब भी छोड़ दो.
See, मुझे ना सदगुरु को सुनना अच्छा लगता है, एक एक्सटेंट, मतलब एक लिमिट तक, ठीक है. तो अभी मैं उनकी एक वीडियो देख रही थी which was about religion and science. तो he says कि if you want to evolve, follow science. If you want to devolve, follow religion.
Of course.
Yeah. So I liked this thing, okay. But then some people ask him questions regarding Ram. राम को हम एक परफेक्ट इंसान मानते हैं. Everybody tells us कि you know
मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम.
Yeah, मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम. But for me, he's not a perfect man.
Okay. Why?
See, पूरी रामायण हुई किसके लिए थी? सीता के लिए, right? He went, miles for her, fought, okay? And then when they come back, he asks her to prove herself to him. तो वो फायदा ही क्या था वो इतना कुछ करने का when he didn't trust her?
Actually क्या था, according to the texts of the Ramayana, सीता, राम ने कभी सीता को नहीं कहा टू गिव दैट अग्नि परीक्षा. सीता ने कहा कि मैं अग्नि परीक्षा दूंगी जस्ट बिकॉज पीपल ऑफ अयोध्या डिडंट ट्रस्ट हर प्योरिटी.
But did it really matter?
Well, it didn't matter because Ram trusted her in a way, but the thing is, Ram wanted to prove it to the people. So it was basically a kind of thing that you would say today to be like, क्या कहेंगे लोग?
क्या कहेंगे लोग?
Right. On this idea or this notion of क्या कहेंगे लोग, Sita had to give that Agni Pariksha. Also, an interesting thing about Ramayana that comes from the scriptures and the texts that have been written from the mythology is Sita was never kidnapped. Ravan never took Sita. What Ravan took was Sita's shadow. Before that happened, because obviously it is said in the mythology that Ram knew of the events that were going to unfold in the future. तो राम ने पहले ही अग्नि देव को पहले ही कहा था कि सीता को अपने पास शरण दो और उसकी जो शैडो है वो रावण ले जाएगा. तो रावण जो लेके गया था वो सीता की शैडो थी. तो जब वापस आई तो वो शैडो जो है उसने अग्नि परीक्षा दी. तो सीता डिडंट एग्जिस्ट ऑल दिस टाइम. मगर एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अगर तुम कहोगे कि मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री राम, मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम टू एन एक्सटेंट यू कैन से कि मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम था. He went to exile, he lived in the jungles for 14 years, he left everything behind, है ना. मगर at the end of the day when he came back and all of that happened, he gave in to the idea of क्या कहेंगे लोग just because he wanted to prove to the or let Sita prove to the people of his kingdom, of his ruling kingdom that she was still pure.
Yeah, that's the thing ना कि क्यों अगर उसको इतना ट्रस्ट था तो उसको ये करने ही नहीं देना चाहिए था ना. He should have taken a stand कि I trust my wife.
What is said in the scriptures is कि Ram trusted her but she didn't stop her from doing what she wanted because it was her will to do it. That is what the scripture says. Scriptures don't portray Ram as someone who wanted her to do that, but they also portray him as someone who didn't want to stop her from doing that so that people won't have a thing to say about or a thing to talk about. So क्या कहेंगे लोग kind of thing.
I think different scriptures have different stories.
Yeah, basically the thing is if you take out the gist of it, it comes to that. But at the end of the day, what happens is even Ram, even after being that Maryada Purushottam, he still gave in to this one human weakness of क्या कहेंगे लोग. So if he can give in to that weakness of क्या कहेंगे लोग, then why can't anybody else?
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't anybody else? Everybody tells people to, today everybody tells each other, do not worry about what people will say, do not worry about what people will think of you. But Ram did the same thing. So either you go and follow that or you don't. So what are you, if you want to change, if you want to evolve from that idea of kya kahenge log, then why aren't you trying to evolve from all the other ideas of Mahabharata, of Gita, of Ramayana, of everything that has happened in the past? You cannot pick and choose कि मैं इससे evolve करूंगा, इससे मेरे को evolve नहीं करना है क्योंकि ये मेरे को ठीक लग रहा है, ये मेरे को ठीक नहीं लग रहा. Just because तुमको एक चीज अच्छी लग रही है कि लोग मेरे बारे में क्या कहेंगे वो मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, तो मैं उससे मैं evolve हो जाऊंगा. मगर बाकी जो चीजें हैं उससे मैं evolve नहीं होऊंगा क्योंकि वो मेरे को ठीक लग रही है, वो they play right into my wheelhouse. तो तुम पिक एंड चूज नहीं कर सकते. इधर ऑल ऑफ इट इज ट्रू और नन ऑफ इट इज ट्रू. अब ऐसा थोड़ी है कि रामायण और महाभारत में आधी चीजें ठीक लिखी हैं, आधी चीजें जो है वो स्टोरीज है. मगर जो तुमको अच्छी लग रही है वही आधी ठीक है, बाकी जो तुमको अच्छी लग रही है वो आधी स्टोरी है. ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता. प्रोबेबिलिटी थ्योरी भी अगर तुम लगाओगे तो यू आर बीइंग रॉन्ग 99.9% ऑफ द टाइम. क्योंकि ऑल द स्क्रिप्चर्स कभी भी वो टाइम पर लिखे नहीं गए, कभी भी वो टाइम किसी ने देखे नहीं होते हुए, किसी को पता नहीं क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, व्हाट वर द सर्कमस्टांसेस. अब हमको तो सिर्फ वो पता ना जो लिखा हुआ है या तुमको जो टीवी पे दिखा दिया किसी ने, मगर तुमको एक्चुअली थोड़ी पता कि वहां पे हुआ क्या था.
हम थोड़ी थे वहां पे.
यू डोंट एग्जैक्टली नो व्हाट हैपेंड. तो बात वही है ना, तुम ऐसे यू कैन नॉट क्रिएट कंक्लूजन्स फ्रॉम अननोन डेटा. अब तुम मेरे को बोल दो कि ड्रॉ कंक्लूजन अबाउट द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ अर्थ, बट वी विल नॉट गिव यू एनी डेटा एज टू बी एबल टू कैलकुलेट कि अर्थ कैसे हुआ. तो मैं कैसे कैलकुलेट करूंगा? व्हाट विल बी द वेरिएबल्स? मैं क्या वेरिएबल पुट इन करूंगा? कैसे कैलकुलेट? व्हाट विल बी x इक्वल टू don't know and don't know. I can calculate x.
That reminds me of the evolution theory that Sadhguru spoke. the Adi Yogi evolution theory versus Darwin's theory of evolution. According to this Adi Yogi theory, which Sadhguru mentions, Rama was the 7th Avatara. Okay. So I think you have something to say about the
Adi Yogi theory of Sadhguru, that was, according to Sadhguru, Adi Yogi was this human that walked the earth 15,000 years ago in the Himalayas, right? But that Adi Yogi was supposed to be Shiv. That Adi Yogi was supposed to be the absolute, who stayed in meditation form for 84 years, and after 84 years, all the people that had gathered around him to ask him to teach them, after 84 years of waiting, he started teaching them. That Adi Yogi was Shiv. The actual Adi Yogi that Sadhguru tries to, the story that Sadhguru tells, that Adi Yogi is supposed to be Nandinath, who happened to exist around 300 BC, who sent 8 disciples of his to different corners of India to spread his teachings. So those are 2 different Adi Yogis. One Adi Yogi is the absolute, the Shiv, that happened about 15,000 years ago, and he was not a human. He wasn't supposed to be a human. But Sadhguru says that he was a human. But he wasn't supposed to be a human. Also, we don't actually know if he existed, because that was 15,000 years ago. 300 in the year 300 BC, Nandinath, there are texts of Nandinath. Nandinath has written verses. There are records of Nandinath having existed in around that time. But Adi Yogi, there are no texts. There is no valid proof of Adi Yogi having existed 50,000 years ago, and especially no proof of him being a human. Adi Yogi says, Sadhguru says that Adi Yogi walked the earth 50,000 years ago, married Parvati, a human, and had 2 children, Skand and Ganesh. But there is
I've never heard about Skand.
Yeah, the 2 children that are supposed to be of Shiv were Kartiki and Ganesh. But according to Adi Yogi, he says that he had 2 children, Skand and Ganesh. He married Parvati and he was a human. But that Adi Yogi wasn't supposed to be a human according to all the texts that have been written or that have been, transcribed from whatever data they had to extrapolate. So all in all, you can say timeline is malleable. History is manipulative. Even for example, let's say 6. Let's take 6 for an example, right? So 6 came into existence about 350 years ago, after Guru Gobind Singh, right? So Guru Gobind Singh made the 6. Gobind Singh was the, you can say, before Gobind there were 9 other gurus, but Gobind Singh was the one who laid the foundation for the religion Sikhism, right? So there is this scripture of 6, that is the Granth Sahib. So in that, there is a line that Sab Sikhan ko hukam hai Guru Manyo Granth. According to the literates, according to scholars, that line wasn't there. Nobody ever wrote that line, though that line was added during the British rule on orders of Britishers by somebody. So what I'm trying to say is, even in 350 years, history has been manipulated to a way that Sikhs have been led to believe Guru Manyo Granth, that Granth is your Guru. But the entirety of Sikhism, that is, the entirety of Granth Sahib before that one single line, suggests that Guru वही है जो तुम्हें दिख रहा है, जो जिससे तुम बात कर सको, जिससे तुम टच कर सको, वो गुरु है ना? किताब गुरु नहीं है. मगर you added that one line, सब सिखों को हुक्म है गुरु मान्यो ग्रंथ, and you created 2 different sets of 6. एक जो प्रत्यक्ष गुरु में मानते हैं और एक जो ग्रंथ साहब में मानते हैं. Even in 350 years, the history has been manipulated to an extent, और वो 350 years जहाँ पे literature had existed, literature had reached a point जहाँ पे उसका रिकॉर्ड था. तो 7000 BC में जो चीज हुई होगी, 3200 BC में जो चीज हुई होगी, जहाँ पे रिकॉर्ड्स भी कोई नहीं थे, तो वो कितनी मैनिपुलेट हुई होगी. Imagine that. Even more recently, let's come, towards the 20th century, to the 21st century. Let's talk about Steve Jobs. Everybody knows Steve Jobs. Everybody knows Apple. Everybody wants to own an Apple device, right? So about Apple, Macintosh operating system. Macintosh operating system is said to have been created by Steve Jobs, but the actual person who initiated the project, who was the main leader of the project, was Jeff Raskin. Nobody knows Jeff Raskin. History has been manipulated in what, 40 years. In 48 years, the history has been manipulated to an extent where people do not know Jeff Raskin but know Steve Jobs to be the creator or the founder of Macintosh operating system. So that is how manipulative history can be. That is how malleable timeline is.
Instead of all this manipulation, in spite everything being manipulated since ages now, people still believe these what we call ideas or myths, but they ignore the facts. They don't want to know about the facts when it comes to religion.
No, they don't want to believe the facts when it comes to anything.
Yeah.
Religion is just an example of it.
Yes.
It's not like people don't believe in the facts about religion but believe every other fact. No, they don't. People believe what they like to believe. People believe what makes them comfortable. People believe what makes them believe, have faith. People believe all the things that give them faith or that sense of accomplishment that they have earned something or they have acquired something in life. That is what people do. That is the psychological evolution of humans. Humans psychologically have evolved in a way to believe or accept everything that gives them a sense of accomplishment. No matter how false that accomplishment is, लोग वही believe करेंगे जो उन्हें अच्छा लगेगा. तुम जितना, अब बात वही है, अगर तुमने सच बोला है, तुम सच बोलोगे in a low register, in a low voice, nobody gives a damn. झूठ तुम चिल्लाकर बोलो, सबने सुन लिया. Our present government can be an example of that. Some I don't know, about a year or so ago, Amit Shah gave about 150 crore houses to all the people of India. Yeah. I didn't got one.
Me too.
I didn't get one, right? Yeah. I didn't get one. So 150 crore people, there are like 132 crore people in India. He gave away 150 crore house, 150 crore to 150 crore families. I didn't get one.
Me neither.
So that is the thing. झूठ तुम जितना चिल्लाकर बोलोगे वो उतना दूर जाएगा. सच तुम जितना मर्जी बोलो वो. The thing about truth, the thing about facts is they do not have anything exciting or anything, that mirch masala kind of thing to them. So they tend to fall down. They tend to fall off the wagon.
ज़्यादा interest नहीं आता.
Yeah, they are not interesting.
Ekta Kapoor has benefited our society to a very good level.
The issue with truth is it tends to fall off the wagon because it doesn't offer anything exciting or anything worth, creating a chaos about.
Yeah.
But the thing about lies is they are exciting as hell.
Fascinating.
Obviously, humans lie for a living. Everybody does. It's some people believe that they tell the truth. They don't lie, or somebody doesn't lie to them. No, everybody lies to you. That is what makes life fascinating.
सबसे फनी चीज जो मैंने अभी सुनी है वो ये है कि थोड़ा सा पढ़ लेते हैं एंड क्वेश्चन करने लग जाते हैं रिलीजन को.
So थोड़ा सा पढ़ लेते हैं का डेफिनेशन क्या है? What is the definition of थोड़ा सा पढ़ लेते हैं? Like first class कर लेते हैं कि 10th class पढ़ लेते हैं? क्या है definition? क्योंकि मैंने थोड़ा सा नहीं पढ़ा है. I have studied a lot. I have studied more than anybody watching this. Their entire family put together wouldn't have studied as much as I have studied. So थोड़ा सा पढ़ लेते हैं क्या definition है? Anybody could say anything about anybody. Like say an ex-person says कि I have Dr. Prithvidev has studied थोड़ा सा, but they don't know my qualifications. They don't know how many degrees I have. They don't know कि मैंने थोड़ा सा जो पढ़ा है वो कितना थोड़ा सा है. I might have acquired. I might be the owner of the entire information that exists in the entire universe. You don't know what is thoda sa for me. You don't know what is thoda sa for you. I don't know that. For what is thoda sa for you could be negligible for me. What is a lot for you, that could be thoda sa for me. So thoda sa का definition क्या है? ये arbitrary है ना? There is no fixed point of thoda sa. Thoda sa is not कि 4th class. Even if it was, say you consider thoda sa to be elementary school. People should know about a person called Mark Twain. He studied thoda sa, elementary school. He is the owner of the first known manuscript that has ever been written. Nikola Tesla. He studied thoda sa. He used to dig roads to, for companies and for other people. He used to dig roads. He created the wireless electricity. He created X-ray. He created so many things. He was the one who came up with the idea of alternating current when he read about all the papers that were being written from out of Russia about the transformers and everything. तो वो भी थोड़ा सा ही था पढ़ा हुआ, मगर उसके लिए जो थोड़ा सा था वो तुम्हारे लिए वो इतना ज्यादा है कि तुम इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते कि what is that extent, that निकोला टेस्ला की नॉलेज का एक्सटेंट you cannot comprehend. So what is the definition of थोड़ा सा? वो तो arbitrary explanation definition होगी ना कि तू थोड़ा सा क्या है. And moreover थोड़ा सा पढ़ के इतना बोलना नहीं तुम बोल सकते. अगर मैंने थोड़ा सा पढ़ा होता तो मैं इतना बोल ही नहीं सकता. थोड़ा सा पढ़ा हुआ जो होगा, जिसके पास नॉलेज थोड़ी सी होगी, the amount of information he would give you is very little. And that even if he tried to give you a lot of information after having studied thoda sa, that information would be scattered. One thing would be here and another would be here. When I am speaking, I know I am speaking in a flow. It is a linear curve. It is a linear line. My information goes in a straight line. I am not going like this and this and this. जो थोड़ा सा पढ़ के बोल रहा है, जिसको knowledge नहीं है of the subject that he is talking about, he would be all over the place. For example, a muhavra in Hindi, thotha chana bajega na, or empty vessels make the loudest noise, right? अगर मैं थोड़ा सा पढ़ के इतना बोल दूं तो फिर तुम भी थोड़ा सा पढ़े हो, तुम भी बोल दो.
थोड़ा सा बोलो, रिसर्च कर लो.
नहीं तुम थोड़ा सा क्यों, तुम भी मेरे जितना बोल दो तो तुम थोड़ा सा पढ़े हो.
आई थिंक वो काउच पे बैठ के और उनको जज करना और कमेंट पास करना, सबको मजा आता है उस चीज में.
क्या कहेंगे लोग, बात वही है ना. At the end of the day, the thing is, what will people say? And if I had ever cared about what will people say, I wouldn't have been at the place where I am today right now. I was the youngest one in my college. I was the youngest in my class. I wouldn't have been here if I cared about what people will say. That is the thing. See, I don't believe in any scriptures. I don't believe in any text. I don't believe in any religion. I don't believe in anything. I believe in facts. Facts state that if you can speak about something, if you know something, if you have read about it, and if you have, or if you have to speak about something in the future, you should first know all of it. Do not speak until and unless you know. It's not like I would go around talking about things that I don't know. Like, for example, I wouldn't talk about swimming. I don't know the first thing about swimming, so I won't talk about it. I can't swim. But the things that I can do, I can talk about them.
See, for me, it's not about degrading religion. किसी को बुरा बोलना या गलत बोलना मुझे नहीं, क्योंकि I am also religious person और भगवान में मैं भी मानती हूँ, but till a limit. मैं ऐसे नहीं कर सकती ना कि I get a patient with myocardial infarction and I tell him कि तू पहले pray कर ले, मैं भी pray कर लेती हूँ और फिर देखते हैं कुछ होता है कि नहीं.
See, that is the thing. That is what people do.
Yeah.
The walls of hospitals have heard the most prayers. More prayers than the walls of temples and mosques and gurdwaras and churches.
Every day we see this.
Right. But the thing is, when a patient would come to me, if I have to do a diagnostics of a patient, I won't tell them to go and believe in God. Because if I can't help that patient, then God cannot.
Exactly.
No God can. There might be whatever number of gods out there, considering the Greek mythology, the Norse mythology, the Hindu mythology, and every bloody mythology on the face of this planet. No God can help a patient if a doctor doesn't want to.
Yeah.
If I want to let you die, you aren't going to live just because you believe in God.
Yeah.
Your cancer isn't going to just go away just because you think that God is looking after you. You will die. Unless it is not cancerous, unless it is not a malignant cancer, you'll die.
As it is said, everything in limit is good. So I think instead of, trusting and believing everything, we should try to rely on facts and believe in what we see, not what we hear or watch on televisions.
People have been doing that for ages. How can you stop them from doing that?
Yeah, I'm not interested in stopping anybody.
No, I am actually. So that wasn't a rhetorical question, that was an actual question. See, I have questions in life. I have a lot of questions.
You have a lot of questions. Yeah.
These walls are filled with questions.
I can see that.
Yeah. So I have questions in life. I want to know how to convince people or how to make people evolve.
Yes.
Because if they continue on their present path, they will reach a point where religion will take over the world in such a manner that there will be no coming back, and the human population and the human civilization, for that matter, will be doomed for extinction. So, if we continue on the same path, humans will go extinct, not because of a meteor this time. The dinosaurs went extinct because of a meteor. Humans will go extinct because of their own stupidity and their own idiosyncrasies. Because they will start killing in the name of religion. And that is stupid and moronic on every single level. Also on every single sub-level.
See, in my POV, I would say that, whatever gospels, whatever stories we hear, we should start learning from that. And we should start, imbibing those good values in ourselves. I know it's tough. Being a human being, we cannot be all, spiritual and good in all aspects. But I would really want everyone to, learn the exact meaning that those things are implying.
What is the definition of being good?
See, being a human being, we are selfish. Okay, somewhere or the other, we will hurt others. Being good in the sense, see, okay, again, it will be affecting a few people out there who are very religious. See, on every Mondays, right?
Yeah.
People go to Shiv Mandir and they pour milk on the Shivlings. But have they ever fed a poor kid or a person who is in need of that milk?
But isn't that a question of morality?
That's what I'm talking about.
But then Friedrich Nietzsche described morality as something that the inferior humans have created to keep the superior humans at bay. So if I have to believe in that idea of morality, that it is created, it is a hoax created by inferior humans to keep people like me at bay or in under control, so I would have to give those people a benefit of doubt, because I don't want them to question my morality, so I won't be able to question their morality.
See, it's
or
not
their
about
idea of morality.
No, it's not about questioning anybody's morality or not showing off what you're doing. For your own good, for your own satisfaction. That's what we need to do. It's not to,
Yeah,
please everybody out there.
But one could say, people who are pouring wasting that milk on a stone, they could say that it gives them satisfaction.
Maybe it does. See,
Although it is a false kind of satisfaction and a
Yeah.
false hope, as I said
it's
earlier.
doing no good to anybody.
Religion, see, the entire concept of religion is a false hope. But the thing is, you cannot say, even I cannot say that people who do that do not find satisfaction. They find satisfaction. Yes, it is idiotic, it is stupid, it is moronic, and it is wrong on every single level. And shouldn't be done. Milk shouldn't be wasted on stones and Kaabas and everything, right? So, but the thing is, they might believe, again, the thing of satisfaction, right? If you are talking about satisfaction, they might get satisfaction from doing that, but not that it is a good kind of satisfaction or it should be done, or I am endorsing it in any way. I am obviously against it in every single way that I can be, but you cannot say that people are entirely wrong in doing that just because it doesn't make sense to you and me, right? But again, same thing, right? There are babas everywhere. Every people ka ped has a baba underneath. Every people ka ped is sacred. Every people ka ped is some kind of, some form of god or goddess, also something is sitting around everywhere, right? But what people need is, people need to believe in that idea of God, or in that idea of someone watching over them, or in that idea of a baba who can cure their diseases, cure their problems, give them options to treat their issues, or to get over their issues with each other, whatever it is, right? But it is not something that makes tangible logical sense. It is something that gives them a false hope, and that false hope kind of creates a psychological condition in people where they start believing that it is happening because of that reason. Until and unless humans can evolve beyond that psychological issues, until and unless humans can evolve beyond that amygdala, that primal part of their brain controlling their entire lives, people cannot evolve. People believe in the idea of religion, people kill in the name of religion, people believe in the idea of pouring milk on stones, people believe in the idea of babas and all these godmen that are running across the city, running rampant across the streets of India and every place else, is because their amygdalas still control 90 to 95% of their lives, and their neocortexes haven't evolved to an extent where they can question and ask perfectly logical, tangible questions as to the answers that they are looking for. They cannot. For example, see, if you have to believe in the people who believe in all these godmen and everybody that has existed in all the periods, then they should also believe or trust or have faith in the likes of Baba Bulle Shah. Bulle Shah said, "पत्थर दी इमारत है जिथे जाके बहने आ, तेरा पता नहीं मिलदा उंज नाम ते लैने आ। चुब्बियां भी लाइयां ने पर मन फेर भी गंदा है, तेरे नाम दी महिमा रुजगार दा धंधा है." That translates to, it is just a stone statue where you go and pray and ask for all those things that you want, but you cannot find God there, right? पत्थर दी इमारत जिथे जाके बहने आ, तेरा पता नहीं मिलदा उंज नाम ते लैने। You keep taking his name, but you cannot find him because you don't know who he is, you don't know where he lives, you don't know what he looks like, you don't know anything. The next part of it goes like, चुब्बियां भी लाइयां ने पर मन फेर भी गंदा है, तेरे नाम दी महिमा रुजगार दा धंधा है. That translates to, you go to see, people go to Golden Temple, people go to Hemkund, people go to certain places where you have Vashisht here, right? People go there, people take a bath in the holy water that they consider to be holy, right? So they think their paps, their faults, all the things that they have done bad, वो सब धुल जाएगा, वो सब साफ हो जाएगा. तो चुब्बियां भी लाइया ने, पर मन फिर भी गंदा है. And inside, your thoughts are still malignant. Ugly, yeah. Your thoughts are still malignant, right? You are still thinking ill about the others. तेरे नाम दी महिमा रुजगार दा धंधा है कि the name, his name, the whatever his name is in the name of God, whatever people are doing, that is merely a business. That is merely a business, right? So people, if you want to believe in every religious scripture and every text that has some kind of impact over your lives, or impact of God in your life, or tries to explain the existence or non-existence of God in any way, then you should believe in everything. Then you should believe in Bulle Shah too. Yeah. Why don't you? And there's another thing that goes, tenu ilm da bada anand bibba, gal amal di nahi pasand bibba. People like to know, people like the information, people like to know the things, but they do not want to act on those things. Tenu ilm da bada anand bibba, gal amal di nahi pasand bibba. Charkha pad chhadya, tera naam man vich jad chhadya. So it ends with a saying like, for example, say, you know how to create a photo, you know how to draw a photo of a well. You are thirsty, you drew a photo of well, but and then you came back, you hung that photo in your room. You didn't get water. You didn't get water. So what is the entire point of that ilm, that knowledge, that information that you have inside of you? What is the point of it at all if you cannot put it into practice? You cannot put it into practice, right? Because you do not have the tools to put that information into practice. To be able to put that information into practice, you have to actually learn that thing. You have to actually understand that thing rather than just reading that thing and memorizing or cramming it on. People cram. If you ask somebody to give a lecture, if you ask somebody to give an interview, if you ask somebody to be in a debate, they will cram certain things, they will memorize certain things, but they will memorize or cram those certain things for a certain amount of time. They won't understand those things. And if you are not understanding anything, then you are not able to put any of it into practice. So that is what people are doing. People have read one verse or two verses of Gita or two verses of Ramayana or two verses of Quran, and they have come to a conclusion कि मैंने दो पढ़ ली हैं तो बाकी के जो हजार है उसमें भी यही लिखा होगा. That is bad math. That is bad statistics. तुम दो चीजों से हजार अलग चीजों का मतलब नहीं निकाल सकते. You cannot do that. That is not the conclusion that your story is giving you. तुम एक लाइन से एक ही लाइन का मॉरल निकाल सकते हो, तुम एक लाइन से पूरी किताब का मॉरल थोड़ी निकाल लोगे. That is not the kind of statistics or the kind of math that should exist in the world. And even scientists do that sometimes, and that is bad science.
See, one thing that I really like about science is it does not differentiate based on your religion, caste, or creed. That's what I like about science.
Of course, it does not.
Yeah.
Human anatomy remains the same. You have two lungs, I have two lungs. You have a liver, I have a liver. It will be always the same.
Same.
You know, there won't be any case where a Muslim comes with us who has one kidney and a Hindu comes who has three.
Yeah.
That would never happen. But the thing about science today is there are some scientists who have created science to be something that they ask people to believe in, and science should not be something that you have to ask someone to believe in. I do not endorse that idea. I do not agree with that idea.
Exactly.
Science should be based on facts. Science should be based on truth. Science should be based on data, not on belief that I believe this would work. Like, I do not believe, like, you know, some disease would get cured. You do not have to believe in science. Science should happen just because there are facts saying that this will happen this way.
There is Navratri, 9
Yes.
days. People will do all sort of things. Kanya Pujan,
Of course.
Mata ki Puja, and Aarti. Now it is Diwali, and there will be Lakshmi Pujan.
Right.
कि लक्ष्मी आएगी घर, और जो घर की लक्ष्मी है उनका क्या, जो
उनका कुछ नहीं।
365 डेज में से एक दिन निकाल के आप पूजा कर रहे हो, और बाकी के टाइम यू हैव दोस अगली थॉट्स, अगली you know, malignant thoughts, and the way you speak, the way you do things, is it all justified?
See, people go to temples, people go to gurdwaras. I don't go, right? But I have seen people who go to temples and gurdwaras. At times I have been inside those temples, I have been inside those gurdwaras, I have been inside those mosques, I have been inside churches, I've been everywhere. मुझे जहाँ खाने को मिल जाए मैं चला जाता हूँ. See, ठीक है.
लोगों को शांति के लिए जाना होता है, इसको खाने के लिए.
हाँ, नहीं, खाना जरूरी है. शांति मिले ना मिले, तो क्या है, जो लोग वहाँ जाते हैं, now people are sitting in a gurdwara or a temple or any religious place that it is. वहाँ जाके what should be their ideology, what should be their thinking, what should be their thought process? It should be that they have come to praise their God. It should be that they have come to be in the presence of their God, right?
Yeah.
But what people talk about is उसकी बेटी ऐसी करती है, उसका बेटा ऐसा है.
Yeah.
So what are you doing there?
Gossiping.
Right. So that is what explains your entire Navratri thing. People don't celebrate those things because they believe in those things. People celebrate those things because everybody else is doing so.
Yeah. And they want to do it better.
हाँ, वो कर रहा है तो मैं भी करूँगा. That is the thing. अगर उस कंजक पूजा है, उसने 5 रुपए दिए, मैं 10 दूंगा. उसने 10 दिए, मैं 20 दूंगा.
Competition.
That is the thing. That is what they want to show.
Yeah.
अब गालिब है, मस्जिद के ऐसे दीवारों पे ऐसे है ना, गालिब मस्जिद नहीं जाता था, क्योंकि गालिब मस्जिद गया, गालिब ने मस्जिद में काजी को कहा कि पीने दे शराब मुझे मस्जिद में बैठकर, या वो जगह बता जहाँ खुदा नहीं, या वो जगह बता जहाँ खुदा नहीं. खुदा अगर खुदा है तो हर जगह है, अगर भगवान है तो हर जगह है, अगर भगवान है तो इस डंडे में भी है, नहीं है तो कहीं भी नहीं है ना. तो गालिब नहीं चाहता था. तो गालिब ने फिर एक और चीज कही थी कि कुछ यूं किया जाए कि किसी रोते हुए बच्चे को हंसाया जाए. यूं किया जाए कि किसी रोते हुए बच्चे को हंसाया जाए. अगर तुम वो चीज कर लोगे, अगर इफ यू एक्चुअली बिलीव इन दैट एंटायर आइडिया ऑफ गॉड, एंटायर आइडिया ऑफ God being in every child, then why are children dying of malnutrition? Why is India falling incredibly fast on the hunger index? If there is so much money, if you have so much money, if you have so much wealth, if you believe in God so much, if you believe in the idea of God to an extent that you donate crores and crores of rupees to build temples and everything, why don't you spend all that money to feed the poor? Why don't you spend all that money to feed a child? Yes, it might give you satisfaction that I built this, मगर बात उन चीजों की बात ये है, the बिल्डिंग थिंग्स वाली जो बात है, अब गुरुद्वारे में, मस्जिदों में, टेम्पल्स में, चर्चिज में क्या होता है, किसी ने पंखे डोनेट कर दिए, उस पे उसका नाम लिखा है कि जितनी देर ये पंखा चलेगा मेरा नाम चलेगा। अगर तुमने करना है तो या तो नाम मत लिखो या करो मत।
एग्जैक्टली। वो शो ऑफ, वो दिखावा क्यों करना ना?
हाँ,
करो तो दिल से करो।
दिल से कोई नहीं कर सकता ना। दिल से करना, व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ दिल से? एक्चुअली दिल is supposed to be
Selfless
hard.
love,
No,
यार,
see,
जिसमें selfishness
there
ना
is
हो।
there is no such thing as selfless love. There is no Heer Ranjha. There is no Sassi Pannu. There is no Mirza Sahiba.
Sad story.
So Heer Ranjha was just a story, right? It wasn't like Heer Ranjha actually existed. वारिस शाह ने लिखी थी हीर रांझा, हीर रांझा थे नहीं, वो भी किसी कोई शायर था। वारिस शाह एक शायर था। वारिस शाह और बुल्ले शाह existed at the same time. वारिस शाह and बुल्ले शाह had the same teacher, शाह इनायत कादरी। तो वारिस शाह ने एक दिन हीर रांझा लिख दी, तो बुल्ले शाह ने लिखा था कि मुख जावा सी वारिस शाह दा जे लिखी रांझे दे नाम हीर हुंदी। तो लिख सकता था वो, मगर टू मेक इट अ ट्रेजिक लव स्टोरी he didn't. Just like Romeo and Juliet. See, Romeo and Juliet क्या है, लोगों को लगता है it is a love story. It is a tragic story of two teenagers. They weren't even, capable of loving. They weren't even of legal age to love each other.
What is the legal age to love each other? आजकल तो छोटे छोटे बच्चे प्यार में पड़ रहे हैं।
That is not love. That is infatuation. That is stupidity. That is just a hormonal imbalance. That is a hormonal imbalance. That is not love. Hormonal imbalance is a different thing. Just because we understand the function of hormones, we do not need to believe in that idea of this ever so fascinating love that people have, or the shayars or the poets or the writers have created over the years.
Yeah, these shayars and poets ना, इन्होंने हमारी लाइफ को इतना इन्फ्लुएंस कर दिया ना कि रियलिटी में जाना ही नहीं चाहता कोई, सब अपनी फैंटेसीज में जीना चाहते हैं।
Obviously, because living in a fantasy, living in this virtual land, living in this idea of your perfect world is so much more calming and peaceful than the idea of chaotic reality. But then again, the question arises: what is real and what is dream?
See,
That I guess would be another podcast.
Yeah.
Because I can talk about reality and dream at length.
Already our podcast has been too long now.
Yeah.
जितना हम इसमें घुसेंगे घुसते ही जाएंगे, and we have so much to talk about. But I want to say this at the end that this Diwali, make it a really happy Diwali, not just for you because of your selfishness, but for someone who is really in need. That is the message that I want to give you, and we wish you a very very happy Diwali and a prosperous Diwali.
Yeah, I don't care about you being selfish. You can be as selfish as hell. I
I
really don't care.
And please show some love to our podcast so that we bring such nice topics and we have a great discussion, and we have so many thoughts in our minds to put forward. So we need your support, and if you like it, we are not forcing anybody, so it's your choice. Goodbye.
Live long and prosper.